From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics, proudly combating the thought police since 2016. Here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. Yesterday, President Donald Trump tweeted, if NFL fans refuse to go to games until players stop disrespecting our flag and country, you will see change take place fast. Fire or suspend. This is just an aversion to critical issues on a national global scale, isn't it? I mean, climate change is threatening cities and entire nations. North Korea is declaring war. Healthcare is falling apart in the Senate. The Russian investigation is dropping new information on a daily basis, yet the president of the United States stands strongly against the freedom of NFL players to protest by dropping a knee during a national anthem? Former San Francisco's 49er quarterback Colin Kaepernick was the first to make the controversial statement last year, before Trump's election over police violence in black communities. The practice seemed to be fading in the NFL until Trump weighed in, and now it's about the most popular thing you can see talked about when it comes to sports today. All eyes turn to Alabama as a hot Senate race is coming to a head tomorrow. The race has been star-studded. It involves big players like President Donald Trump, Vice President Mike Pence, former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin came out of the woodwork. We got big stars like Bill Robertson and karate master Chuck Norris. Now, this has been going on for a while. There was a lot of people, but it was down to the last three until just yesterday when Mo Rogers dropped out of the race. Mo Rogers is no Mo, okay? So it's down to Luther Strange and Roy Moore. They're the final hours of the hard-fought intra-party campaign that's testing Donald Trump's influence with Republican voters and could set the stage for a series of GOP Senate primaries next year. The final days of campaigning feature Vice President Mike Pence going for Luther Strange. You probably know him. Luther Strange is the guy that really likes the celestial dark arts, an expert at it. And they're going versus Steve Bannon, whose face looks like somebody used the dark arts on him. Steve Bannon and Duck Dynasty star Phil Robertson are stumping for Roy Moore. So we'll see. Will Roy Moore last any more? In an unexpected announcement, the Supreme Court said it will not hear oral arguments in the travel ban as scheduled on October 10th. The court wants to hear from both sides if the issue is moot after the proclamation President Donald Trump just issued on Sunday night. Last night, if you didn't follow along, 3 new nations were added to the list of countries whose citizens will face restrictions: Chad, North Korea, and Venezuela. One country, Sudan, fell off the travel ban list. Now, this is not a ruling about the constitutionality or a final decision from the court. The one-page, unsigned announcement simply removes the case from the oral argument schedule for the moment. So, what conclusions do I draw from this? I don't really know. In fact, it's a little over my head. But here's what I think. I think the argument is, how can this be a Muslim ban if we're banning people from North Korea who in general are not a religious country? But I might be wrong. I think we'll just have to learn more as it unravels. Turns out protesting doesn't have to take place on the football field. Protesters today are forcing the delay of the GOP healthcare bill. This is life and death for a portion of Americans who are on disability through the Medicaid program, which could suffer deep cuts with the latest GOP healthcare bill. This is the first and only scheduled hearing for the contentious bill that Republicans are trying to cram through Congress this week. Now, if they wait until and don't have this, discussion today, later today, there should be an independent analysis by the CBO of the GOP bill, telling us how much it's exactly going to cost America to have this bill. So I think it's a good thing that maybe we have this discussion tomorrow. Today, former member of the House of Representatives Anthony Weiner was sentenced to 21 months in prison for sexting with a 15-year-old girl. This was the scandal that rocked Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign in the closing days of the race, and some people might even say that this is what cost her the campaign, because Weiner was married to Clinton's top aide, Uma Abedin, and while the FBI was investigating Weiner, they stumbled on Uma's laptop, which led to Comey announcing 11 days before the election that he was reopening the probe into Clinton's email. Now, Weiner today dropped his head. He's 63 years old, dropped his head and wept in the courtroom as the sentence was announced. The victim has admitted that she was motivated by the presidential election. The North Carolina girl initiated conversations with Weiner and was paid tens of thousands of dollars to tell her story to a British tabloid and Inside Edition. Now she's trying to get a book deal.